Hi. Of everyone they could have chosen, they picked me, so this should be fun, right? So, Melanie Williamson. I'm out of Oak Harbor, Washington right now. I'm currently a 5th grade teacher, which is really interesting and actually pretty hilarious once you get to know me, but to understand that you need to know where I came from and the person I kind of once was. When I was in high school, I was a terror. I was loud, I was mean, I was manipulative, and I was a complete loose cannon. There was nothing anyone could tell me that would change my mind. You couldn't tell me what to do, and you could not put me in the little box that you wanted me to function in. So this is a big part of my story, is where everybody just tells me no. So I get through school, barely graduate. I even, at one point in time, had a counselor tell me I was worthless. She told me, "You're a waste of time. You're never going to amount to anything." And at that point in time in my life, it didn't matter. It matters to me that she said that to me now. But then it didn't. I didn't care. Whatever. Do you. I'm going to do me. I'm going to take care of myself. And that's fine. So I got out. I got through high school, graduated, started adulting. I had a job. I had my own apartment. I was doing great. And I realized this is absolutely nothing. This is so mediocre, and I am so above mediocre. I'm bored. I had no goals, no aspirations. I was just living. So I tried to look out some options. What am I going to do with my life? Where do I want to go from here? So I adjusted fire, and I found the Navy. And I said, I want to do that. I can do that. So I didn't talk to anybody about it. I just made my decision, and I decided I'm going to join the Navy. I go home and I tell my family, and I'm so excited. I'm like, in 2 weeks I am leaving for boot camp. And they're like, what? You? And I'm like, yeah. Everybody was against it. 2 people in my family didn't talk to me for days. My dad even looked at me at one point in time and he said, "Mello, do you know what you're doing?" I said, "Of course not. No. Why would I?" I've looked at it and I'm like, cool, I can pull this off. I've got it. All of the benefits outweighed the cons for me, and it was a good choice for me. It was a bold move, and I needed it. I needed more in my life, so I went for it. Oh, I should have started with that. That's an awesome picture. So I went into the Navy, and it went pretty quick. And I walked in the door, and they were like, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I'm like, "You guys are going to teach me a job. You're going to teach me a trade. Teach me to be an aircraft mechanic. I know nothing about that. Let's do that. Let's pick that one. So I walked into my first mechanic shop. I'm excited. It's my first squadron. I come in the door. As you can guess, it's a group full of males. I walk into that shop, and they look me up and down, and they're like, "Great." And I'm like, "Thanks." So they drew that line in the sand right there. They said, "This is our expectations of you." And I got it. I said, "Fine. Don't expect much out of me. I'll prove you wrong." And I did, and I fought for it. We had 50-pound toolboxes. That's pretty heavy. They're metal toolboxes full of tools, great stuff. I'd throw it on my shoulder. I'd struggle. Didn't tell anybody. I'd struggle, and I'd run up those 3 flights of stairs on the carrier, and I'd get to the flight deck, and I'd do my job. I didn't need your help. I didn't want your help. You didn't need to do anything for me. You just need to keep up with me. So I made a name for myself, and I made it quick. Everybody knew my name. You always will, because I'm loud. You can't miss me. But they knew my name because of my work ethic. Not because of what they expected out of me, but what I could do for our group. This is me on the flight deck. This was one of my favorite jobs of all time. That's shooting a F-18 off the flight deck. It's great stuff. But my time came to an end. I left the Navy in 2011, and I moved with my now wife to Texas, where I was going to start college. This was another big step for me, because not long ago, I was in high school, and we know how well high school worked out for me, right? So I went to college, and I was excited, and I was like, you know what? My leaders that I had in the military, they showed me how to rein myself in, how to make goals for myself, and how to strategically plan to get where I want to go. Not just to set goals, but to surpass them, to hit way above them. So I went to college, and I showed up my first day. I've got my textbooks, I've got my highlighters. I'm 15 minutes early because that's what we do. I get in the front row, and I have a seat, and I'm ready to go for this lecture, my very first lecture. And a young lady sits next to me, and she's pissed off. It's 10 a.m. She's mad to be up, and I'm like, all right. And then she proceeds to tell me about how her parents just cut her data plan in half, and she is furious. And I went, shit, I have nothing in common with these people. And it is what it is, right? It just was. If you've ever been on Facebook and you've seen that Billy Madison meme, where he's squatting in the little first grade desks, and it's like me using my GI Bill, that was my life. That was my life, and I didn't get it. And for the first time in my life, things had flip-flopped. I was academically strong. I was doing well. I was doing great for myself. I was getting A's. I was getting professors talking to me. They're like, you're great. You're a model. And I'm like, thanks. But where I was struggling was socially. I didn't have that connection. There was something missing, and I couldn't place it. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand that how I went from being respected and having people under me and running things on a flight deck where it's busy and fast-paced to now I'm struggling to make a friend? Really? So I did what any other person would do. I pull upon my resources. And you think about it, what do veterans do? Veterans go to the VFW. So I'm excited, and I'm like, new move for me, right? New move. I'm gonna go to the VFW, and I'm gonna find my people. I'm gonna find the people that have had a similar story to mine, that have been deployed, that have had the struggles coming back, someone I can lean on and understand. So I go, I walk in the door, and I'm ready for this. It's that sense of relief ready to wash over me. I'm gonna find my people. Exactly, I come in. I come in, and an older gentleman approaches me right at the door, and I'm like, here it is, here it is. And he reaches out his hand, and he leans down to me, and he says, honey, you can't be here. Honey, you can't be here. Why? Because I don't look like a veteran? Because I'm young? Because I'm small? Because I'm a woman? I don't fit your stereotype of a veteran, what I should look like. My service doesn't mean the same as yours did. I didn't leave until they agreed to let me in. Imagine that, right? I'm not leaving until you hear my voice. But I had to prove who I was. I had to show them and prove who I was because I didn't fit their stereotype. They drew that line. They said, no, you're not it. I made it work, but I never went back there. That wasn't my place. I can't thrive in a place where you put me in a box and say, you're not what I want you to be. It was fine. It was fine. I went on about my business. I ended up graduating college. I did great for myself. I am the first in my immediate family to not just go to college, but to graduate college. And that was a big deal for me. I got a bachelor's of science. I graduated with honors. And as you can see in multiple honor societies, I was hot shit. And I was proud of it. Very proud of it. But there was still something missing. I had a lot of downtime, a lot of time to reflect when I was in college. You have those weekends, sometimes you cluster your classes to get extra long weekends, and then you have big breaks and gaps. And I didn't know what to do. I stumbled across a group called Team Rubicon. A lot of people raised their hands and were talking and smiling about it when she mentioned it a minute ago. Team Rubicon is a disaster relief nonprofit organization. And they deploy domestically and internationally, bridging the gap between immediate assistance and long-term recovery. They utilize the skills of military veterans and first responders and some pretty cool civilians. So there's a good mix of civilians in there too. And I was interested, so I jumped in. Just like everything else, I'm like, sounds good, benefits outweigh the cons, I'm in. Count me in. My first deployment with them, is that make it or break it point. You're gonna tell me what I can achieve? I walked out on that work site, and I was thrown a pair of truck keys. They said, "You can drive a truck, right?" Yeah, I can drive a truck. Let's go. And it's been like that ever since. They've never said, "This is the line in the sand." They've never looked at me and said, "This is where you're going to stop." They look at me constantly and go, "What else can you do? If I throw you this, can you keep going? Can you keep doing more?" They taught me how to use a chainsaw, by the way. It's great. But they never tell me to stop. I found that crew. I found that tribe. I found those people that were missing the same part of their heart when they stepped out of service. And they said that I need to do more. And so we found our community where we're helping people again. We're out there. Constantly in the mix. I've now been with Team Rubicon for 3 years. I've done 3 deployments. One of those deployments I spent over 5 weeks in doing flood relief, which, as you can imagine, is mud and mold and a lot of muck. And it's fantastic and exhilarating. But this is what I do as my passion. I said earlier, I'm a 5th grade teacher. I'm a 5th grade elementary teacher. And this is my life on a daily basis. This is an opportunity. I was shut down in school. I was shut down because I was tried to put into a box that I wouldn't fit into. So I constantly try to look at my students and go, am I being that person I needed when I was a child? Can I do that for them? And it is an opportunity to be there for them when they can make these life-changing choices, when I can look at them and go, did I set the bar high enough for you? Do you have the tools that you need to succeed? Let me be that person for you. As I continue my story, I've realized I am many things. I am never what someone else tells me I can be. I never stop where they told me, this is your spot. This is probably where you're going to end up. I am a woman. I'm a veteran, a teacher, a hell of a wife. I'm a disaster relief worker, but I'm not done. And as you've listened to these other stories, we have a continuing theme that's going on between each one of us. We took off our uniform and our service ended, but our service has not ended. We continue to serve our communities. We continue to serve our country, our family, and ourselves because we aren't done yet. Thank you.